Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer. Take a trip into the macabre world of goth modeling in the new millennium in this spooktacular Spinsterella story. Pick up your copy of Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Better get the coleslaw, y'all, cause we're having us a barbecue. A man and his uncle are being accused of stabbing a KFC worker in a dispute over gravy.
And a fight over gravy turning into a stabbing on a North Las Vegas KFC. And 8 News Now reporter James Schaefer telling us who was charged and if it was really over a fast food order.
A KFC worker ran alongside a North Las Vegas patrol car attempting to get their attention while just inside, their co-worker suffering from a stab wound, allegedly over gravy. The Saturday scene at Craig Road in Martin Luther King. Police investigating reports of a stabbing, detaining 4 people and recovering a knife. Police say it was around 4 p.m. a KFC customer identified as 32-year-old Gerald Carter left with his meal but became frustrated with something inside his to-go order, returning to the fast food restaurant. A North Las Vegas arrest report indicating Carter became upset about his KFC gravy and said he wanted to speak with the manager. Carter walked to a nearby McDonald's and returned a second time to the KFC asking for a phone number to complain to. He then returned a third time, this time with his uncle, and began to argue at the counter with employees, allegedly, who were insulting him. According to security camera footage, the fight boiling over as Carter got behind the counter and stabbed an employee, punching and wrestling by the drive-thru window, holding them in a severe chokehold. Carter then allegedly knocked out the employee and left until he and his uncle were detained by police. Now, according to the report, Carter said he did get into a fight but denied that he stabbed anyone. Police did find a folding knife in his pocket. He is being held on a $100,000 bail on 1 count of attempted murder with a deadly weapon. Reporting from North Las Vegas, James Schaefer, 8 News Now.
Now, according to that same police report, the unnamed employee who was injured was taken to UMC Trauma. The KFC has remained open.
Now, according to reports, Gerald Carter, a 32-year-old man, went to a North Las Vegas KFC to pick up an order of food from the fast food restaurant. And as he was inspecting his order that he had received from the restaurant, he noticed that there was something wrong with the gravy that was a part of his order. And that's where he returned to the counter and looked to complain about the gravy, and after possibly having an argument with the workers, stormed out of the restaurant the first time and then went to a nearby McDonald's. Now, after coming back to the after going to the McDonald's, he then came back to the restaurant to get a number to complain about either the gravy or the service he received. And then after going to the restaurant to have another argument, he basically left the restaurant once again, then basically went and got his uncle. And after getting his uncle, they then went back to the restaurant where Gerald Carter then got in another argument with the workers who he thought were mocking him and laughing at him. And that's where Gerald Carter decided to get behind the counter and then look to stab one of the workers, possibly with a knife that he had on his person. And after stabbing this worker, he then got the worker into a chokehold. And that's where police then found Gerald Carter and his uncle James Carter and then took them into custody, booking both men on suspicion of attempted murder on December 27th. Now, the police in Las Vegas see this as an isolated incident, but when I take a critical examination of the alleged behavior of Gerald Carter, it basically definitely fits the pattern of beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And it's clear to me that Gerald Carter is one of these beta males who has and doesn't understand how to resolve conflict, because the whole situation with this gravy could have easily been resolved by him just simply saying that there's an issue with the gravy and that he would like to get another order of gravy. That's all that needed to be done, and I believe the workers would have gone out here and given him that order of gravy, because that order of gravy was basically, again, pennies on the dollar for a KFC, and they would have gladly possibly given him that gravy just to settle the issue and leave the customer satisfied. Unfortunately, what happened here in the case of Gerald Carter is that because this man had no understanding of how to resolve a conflict, he basically escalated a minor incident into a major crime, escalated a minor incident into a major crime by getting into his emotions about this gravy and then letting his emotions get out of control to the point where he started to act extremely erratic regarding the whole situation regarding this gravy. Now, this situation where he started to act erratic was when he left the restaurant and then went into this McDonald's, and that's where his behavior really starts to show a sign of extremely being erratic. And then he comes back to the restaurant trying to get a number to complain about this gravy, and again, not looking to resolve the conflict, but possibly looking to try to escalate things to get these workers into trouble over a minor issue. And then after this he didn't get the response that he wanted, he then left the restaurant a second time and then went and brought his uncle into the situation. Now, I'm wondering why the uncle did not step in and be a voice of reason to his nephew. Why didn't the uncle step in and let the nephew understand this is not something to get upset about? I mean, if the service at this KFC is that bad, what you do is basically just, again, in the case, if you can't get the gravy that you want, then what you do in this situation is just write it off and say you're just not going to go to that restaurant anymore. Unfortunately, when it comes to beta males, in a lot of cases, these men, because they, one, don't know how to conflict resolve, two, don't know how to critically think, and three, don't know how to problem solve, they wind up, again, escalating a minor matter into a major crime, and that's what happened here with Gerald Carter. I mean, he basically escalated this entire incident into a major incident where he, again, continued to get into an argument with these workers, looked to jump behind the counter, stabbed one of these workers, and then after stabbing this worker, looked to get them into a chokehold. And all of this was being recorded on security cameras inside of the restaurant, and that's where Gerald Carter went from being a man who had the intangibles of his dignity, his self-respect, and his freedom, to now being a person who's in the Las Vegas County Jail and is now being part of an open and shut case where he will go from a guy who was just going to go eat some KFC to now being inside of the jails and the penitentiary, where he will be getting to eat much of the jailhouse cuisine, such as spreads and other items in the jailhouse recipes that are done as related to stuff in the commissary. And he'll have a lot of company to join him and his uncle, such as inmates such as Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles, and will be possibly having to trade all of the items of the commissary, such as Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, packets of Crystal Light lemonade, packets of Crystal Light tea, Keef coffee, Taster's Choice coffee, off-brand orange drink, off-brand grape drink, off-brand lemon lime drink, off-brand kiwi strawberry drink, off-brand fruit punch, off-brand apple juice, off-brand ginger ale, off-brand Oreo cookies, off-brand duplex cookies, off-brand vanilla wafers, off-brand ginger snaps, Hunt's snack pack puddings, beef jerky with mozzarella cheese, beef jerky with cheddar cheese, beef summer sausage, Fritos chips, hot flamin' Cheetos, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pies, and all the items of the commissary, and they'll be possibly trading all of those items in the commissary as they're trading them to be able to eat different recipes as related to the jailhouse cuisine. That's what this man basically wound up putting himself on a road on, because he didn't have the discipline or self-control in order to be able to understand how to resolve a basic conflict that I have had in many fast food restaurants. Sometimes they don't put the fries in your order, and all you do is go back and tell them, hey, I didn't get the fries in my order, or I didn't get the gravy that I liked, or something is wrong with the order. And again, the workers there will go out of their way to go out here and fix this, because again, they're working for minimum wage, and with them working for minimum wage, all they're going to do is just go out and give you another one to basically settle the matter and go on about their day like nothing else is happening. That's basically what would happen if this guy knew how to go out here and resolve conflict. Unfortunately, when it comes to beta males, these guys make mountains out of molehills. They create a whole lot of drama where there doesn't have to be drama. And when they go out here and do this, they put people's lives at risk. And that's what makes working fast food a very dangerous job these days, because what people have to fear who work behind the counter is that they're going to not run into like a gunman or anything like that, but they're going to run into one of these customers who has no understanding of how to deal with life. That's what happened in Florida with one worker who was working at a Checkers, a guy basically going crazy over not getting mayonnaise. Again, that led to that man's death because the worker had to defend themselves. And when it comes to these fast food jobs, I really feel for the people who work there. I mean, you're just coming there just trying to get through a day, trying to get the minimum wage, trying to get where you're going in life, and the things you have to run into these service jobs with these beta male ticking time bombs and these Karens basically is very stressful. It's very stressful because, again, one, you don't know, who is coming in, and two, you don't know what they're going to do when they come in the restaurant. That's what used to put me nervous when I was working in places like supermarkets, like Food Emporium, or a place like the City College Science Library. So I understand where these workers are coming from, and I understand the dangers that have escalated post-COVID when it comes down to a lot of these people. I mean, a lot of these people are not really sitting here thinking about more important things. I mean, when it comes to something as trivial as gravy from KFC, I can go out here and charge that to the game because I understand there are more important things in life than a bowl of gravy that only costs people at KFC 2 cents. And in the case of you, again, it's just something that's just, if you don't get it, big deal. I mean, there are more important things that you have to think about preserving, like again, your dignity, your self-respect, and most importantly, your freedom. When it comes down to men these days, they're not really thinking about these things, and they're not thinking about them because in a lot of cases, a lot of men these days take their life for granted in this country due to the dysfunctional way they have been raised, and because of the dysfunctional way they have been raised by their single mothers in some cases, what happens is these men take their lives for granted, and as they take their lives for granted, they go out here and turn trivial matters into major crimes, and as they turn those trivial matters into major crimes, they put people's lives in jeopardy and show us how dangerous these beta males are, because these men who don't know how to deal with life basically turn minor situations in life into a crisis. And that's sadly what happened here at this Las Vegas KFC, where this guy, who I think possibly could have been on drugs, and if he wasn't on drugs, there is definitely something wrong with him and he needed to be supervised. His uncle should have come with him when he went to that restaurant the first time, because the way he was flipping out, basically showed me that there was some sort of issue with this dude, some sort of issue as related to him not understanding how life worked in the world, and showed me that when it comes down to, again, guys like this, they basically are a clear and present danger because of their lack of understanding of how to function in the world. And that's the scary thing, because we've got over 100 million of kind of guys like this. And again, these men are a clear and present danger because these men basically turn every situation into a crisis due to their erratic and out of control behavior. Now, if you want to learn how to identify the behavior of a beta male and learn what to do in the case of a confrontation with them, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis at other online booksellers like Draft the Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you'd like to see me make more videos talking about the man crisis that is plaguing this country and other countries in the world, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback at e-readers, ISIS Dark Incubus. The goddess next door gets enthralled in a romantic entanglement with an evil incubus in this all-new ISIS series adventure. Get your copy of ISIS Dark Incubus in paperback and e-readers today. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy of The Man Crisis in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.